next Saturday night. We're sending you back to the future.
It's not live.
Yeah.
So we are the movie Misfits, and today Anthony's going to talk about time traveling movies. So before you go to number 8, what was that movie that just came out with what's the kid that just plays Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine.
No, not Chris Pine. Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt just made a movie.
Yeah.
Where,
Oh, that's right.
what movie was
I
that?
didn't even put that on there.
I can't remember the name, but that wasn't bad. I watched it. It's like the aliens were like kicking
It was almost the same.
They went to the past to recruit you to go. No, they went to the future to get you, to bring you back to fight. And
No,
if you don't,
they went to the past.
They went to the past to get you, right?
Bring you to the future.
Bring you to the future to fight.
Yeah.
And if you fight, then
Edge
it
of
fixes
Tomorrow.
everything.
No, that was Edge. It's almost like the same name though. It's almost the same.
They went back and got their
They started on the soccer field.
I think the kids went back and got their.
No, what happened was no. It was that's not true. He's right. The people in the future came back in time to recruit.
I can't believe I can't think of the name because I just
we're gonna fight. We need you.
Yeah, we just watched that.
And they're like, prove it. What are you talking about? So they brought, and every time they
this
brought
is
people,
sad.
they didn't make it. So they had to keep coming back and recruit and keep coming back. And then what happened was something happened. They dropped you out of the sky, and people were falling on pools on top of buildings. But then someone hitting the ground and not making it because something happened.
I gotta look this up because it's bothering me now.
And you had to sign wills and all that before you left.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was the Tomorrow War. The
Tomorrow War, yeah.
I had to look that up. That sucks, but yeah, that should have been on my list.
that wasn't bad.
Very new, yeah. But it was a good movie. My wife loved it. All right, number 8, Timeline.
Timeline?
Yeah.
Never heard that.
Great
You?
movie. Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler.
Yeah. Oh, there was a few. Like Gerard Butler, Paul Walker. They go back. They're like scientists, and they're like messing around with this time travel device, and it actually works. Sends it back to medieval times, and they one of their partners was Gerard Butler. He went back way before them and stayed there, and he kind of like became this lord of and he gets a little like evil, but not evil, just more like power. No, it wasn't Gerard Butler. He wasn't the guy. It was somebody. It was another guy. Gerard Butler was one of their friends. That's right. But yeah, that's like if you like, it kind of melded like science fiction with fantasy, like kind of, or like if you're into like that medieval stuff, like I am. It was a really good take on that. Just being like a modern person and being put into that world, like being like sometimes I don't know about you guys, like I've always like everybody's probably thought at one point or another, like, oh, I'd like to be living in those times, with the knowledge I know now. Yeah. And it was just kind of that.
And a really good sword.
Yeah, really. Or if you could take a gun with you, it'd be even better. You'd be a king.
That was like in Time Cop. Back and
right.
Take that gold now.
Yeah. But it was a really, really well-made movie. Good acting. So it definitely, when I watched it back in the day, it was just one of those ones I watched like quite a few times over and over. Another one where I haven't seen in a long time, but I know it's on my list. So I just don't remember a lot of the plot points for some reason. 7, Groundhog Day. Definitely a classic. Definitely one of those.
Movie.
Yeah, a lot. Talking about time travel, like science is a loop movie. So like you got the different kinds of movies. The ones where you go back in time.
It was funny because he was going through phases. And he was getting impatient, especially when he was trying to pick up McDowell, the girl.
The girl, yeah.
And at the beginning, he was patient, did it good. But then
later,
he messed up.
Like a pig in front of her.
But he was trying to take her out, and every time he did it, it got shorter and shorter because he kept running out of pace. Like the slaps kept coming faster and faster. Like he was like, oh, you jump on, like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, I just love kids. Oh, you love kids? I just love kids. So, me too. Hey, what's some ice cream? Like just all this, he was like, just rushing everything because he was run out of patience.
Well, the best was it was the other girl, the girl he was trying to pick up. He was like, he'd go up to her, ask her like a little question, and be like, "Oh, all right, great," and then save it for the next day, and then he's like,
He said, "What school did you go to?"
Yeah.
What did teacher's name? I was like,
yeah.
He's like, man,
What?
They said something. From I sat him back in front of the teacher. It's like, I don't remember. It's Then
It was just so many lines out. I'm like, "What's that first step? It's a doozy."
Yeah,
And then he
that's
ends
a
up
doozy.
the guy out. Ned, it was
Ned, I think.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, that's a classic, obviously.
You have never thanked me when you caught the kid out of the tree. You have never thanked me.
Yeah, I mean that's Bill Murray at his best.
Definitely,
well, maybe not his best, but it was
one of them.
It was actually like after he kind of like went on a little lull, like he had like a lot of his good stuff came like way before then, and then like you kind of didn't hear about him, and that kind of like resurrected his career.
Scrooge was pretty good too.
Yeah, that was good.
oh, wasn't Norman? What's his name?
McDowell?
Wasn't he in that movie?
Which one?
In what?
In
Groundhog Day?
Groundhog Day.
No, it was Chris Elliott.
Oh, the one that he was at the bar with drinking or something like that.
Yeah, well, he drove the van. And did
No,
the
Chris
cameras.
Elliott was on the news crew. Who are you talking about?
I
Who you
thought
talking
the other guy, Norm McDonald.
Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, he wasn't in that movie.
Well, Bill Murray's brother was in it. Remember, he was choking, and he came and he said, just
Who was in the van with that? He was giving a ride, but he was.
That was Chris.
That's Chris. Yeah. As you want some pastry, whatever his name was. He's decided being all nice.
All right, so we're on number 6. I got Tenet because Tenet. A lot of people maybe didn't like it. I think
it wasn't my favorite.
I think it got built up.
Give me a
lot.
headache, I think, when I watched it.
Yeah, but I love that. Like I love watching a movie that I had to watch it. I think I watched it like probably 4 or 5 times, just because I got upset because I like trying to wrap your head around the concept,
Yeah.
And it's
I started getting nosebleeds, so I called it quits. I don't get the mind strength as you.
Christopher Nolan,
I need hand puppets.
but I think it just at the time it came out, it was number 1, being a theater release only during the pandemic. I mean, it was kind of a bold move. I think a lot of people, even Christopher Nolan fans were just like maybe too confused. I think it was just a lot of people didn't give it a chance and watch it those multiple times. And I still, like I said, I've watched it a lot of times, and some of the things still kind of fuzzy, don't make sense.
But you see, what's going on here is that because your brain is so developed, you're trying to compare yourself to the normal human race. And
it's
normal people that watch that movie is not going to get it.
No, but I'm just saying.
So hopefully you can explain it to us right now.
All right, so a normal time travel concept is, you go back in time, so it's a jump. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or you go forward in time. It's a jump. Right. The concept of this was you can't jump. You can travel back in time, but you're gonna actually travel like as time moves forwards, you would have to travel backwards. But it's not a jump. Yeah. Right. So you're actually just moving backwards. Living
backwards, going normal speed.
And when you do it, you're moving in your direction where everything is moving like in reverse. But you're moving in reverse. But to you, obviously,
but the same clock time, not fast.
It's just like you're.
Actually, I watched that movie twice, and now that's the first time I understand it. Now that you explained it.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying. Yeah,
me too.
And that's what. But in the whole thing with like the inverted, like it's time inversion, so it's not time travel, really. So technically, it doesn't even belong on this list because it's. He calls it time inversion. Yeah. So it's basically you have this machine. It's basically like a big turnstile, and you walk into it, and as it turns, and it goes. So they had that room where. So you got a glass wall, and that's where you gotta like kind of understand the concept is where you got a room, right? There's a glass divider in between, so you got 2 rooms. At the end of the room, you got this turnstile. So you walk into the turnstile, you're in like normal time. You walk into the turnstile, it turns. You walk out of the turnstile, and now you're walking in reverse. Well, you're not walking in reverse. You're just traveling.
You're going in reverse, but regular time.
But if you're looking at it from the other side of the glass, you're going backwards. There was that one scene where they're having a conversation between the glass, like he was holding the gun to the girl, his wife, and Washington is in the seat, and they're talking, and you could hear him talking backwards. It's really like some of the concept is like, maybe it's even fuzzy. Like I don't even know if it really made sense, but the way he portrayed it was really brilliant. I thought just the fact that to come up with
it had
this
to be
idea
brilliant
was
because
the
nobody
first.
got it. The majority of the human race didn't get it because
Yeah,
it's so brilliant.
well,
like I'm getting a headache now just thinking the story.
It's really
Like-
but hey, all right, so beyond the whole time travel or time inversion concept, I just thought the movie, like, some of the action was really good. Like the opening scene when they're in the opera is like really really intense action scenes. I thought what's his face from Twilight there did a great job.
You know why Anthony really likes this movie? Because it actually blew his mind. Because shit don't blow his mind. That's why. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute, I can't think.
Wait a minute. Me? I can't? No. Something's wrong.
But yeah, and then that whole I get the movie until the end where it gets tough.
Then if you don't get it, then that means they messed up.
Well, the end of the last
Bottom
scene,
line, right? They must have messed up.
Like you remember the last battle scene where like they had two.
No, I was in the bathroom with a tissue, had blood coming down, and I was taking aspirin, had all the shit spilled everywhere. I didn't make it.
That's all right. All right. So
I didn't make
anyway, tell it. I think watch it a couple more times.
Oh yeah,
I think
can't wait
you'll
now.
get it.
I'll put all the pills all over it. I'll be ready.
All right. So we're getting into my top.
String theory class.
Yeah.
I'll stop watching it.
All right. So we're at my top 5. Time Machine. It's got to be in there. It's got to be on everybody's top. I mean, that's the original. That's the. So
You're not talking about that original, right? You're just talking about the top one right there on the screen, right there over here.
H.G. Wells?
Oh, well, yeah, that. Well, all right, so that's the original movie. And yeah, I think that was, I mean, the other one with Guy Pearce, it was good. I liked it.
I remember liking it.
Those,
I don't remember a lot of it, but I remember at the end, it went so fast, he got old and everything got all messed up.
It had some, and there's this thing in some movies that really bothers me. I've seen it in like, for instance, the Matrix one where they're all living in the cave. I don't know if it was Resurrection or
when we were having
Revolution.
Sex, that big giant orgy.
That one, yeah, and
they're all gonna die, so they had
where
one
you
last
got
sex fest. Remember that?
Yeah, well, it's like where you got like these
They were
extras.
spraying oil on them and shit.
Yeah, it's like the extras. Yeah, they had like a rave. Yeah,
It was a sex rave.
It's like those.
They showed everybody from waist up, so you couldn't see what they were doing, so they could put it a PG-13. Remember? Because they showed it down, it would have got a higher rating.
Well, so it's where like the environment doesn't look lived in. You know what I mean? It's like it looks staged. It looks like the extras. I don't know how to really.
Doesn't look
explain
homey.
It
That's
just
for sure.
it just doesn't look like right.
No
There's
carpet.
something- And that's what bothered me about the Guy Pearce version of
I don't remember
the Time Machine. The Eloy, the people that he finds that are like the new human race.
Is that what, like they were like cave dwellers or something, like hairy animals or something? I remember
Guy
that.
Pierce one, they were living on the sides of cliffs.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I thought I remember a little bit.
I don't know. It had like a little cheesiness to it, and so I mean,
They were like primitive again, like cavemen kind of people.
Yeah.
Like
well,
it was
the whole
something backwards.
the concept of H.G. Wells' book, The Time Machine. It must have been in the late 1800s. I don't know when he wrote the book, but that's like the original time travel story. That's like what
Probably the first.
Every time travel story was it came out of that. He was like the what to time travel what oh shit, I can't even think. Night of the Living Dead. What he was to zombies, like
George Romero.
Right. H.G. Wells was to that, as well as War of the Worlds. He also did that. You know, H.G. Wells was a classic science fiction, like one of the first science fiction authors. But the whole concept is, you know, the guy comes, you know, invents this time machine, and he uses it, and it goes, you know, he ends up going.
Too fast, right, or something like that.
He went way
too far.
Like
did something get broke or something?
Of years. Well, that was
guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the whole point of it was like the human race kind of split into two different like types. You know, you had the Eloi, who were the ones that were living above ground, and they didn't have to work. Like they had everything for them. They would just pluck, you know, the food off trees, and there was no violence. They were just like basically lazy. They just laid around and ate grapes all day.
Nice
and
passive
had
race.
Sex. Yeah.
Nice.
Where's
that at again?
Then you had the Morlocks, who lived on the ground, and they were the ones that were. So basically, they were the ones growing the food and providing everything for them behind the scenes. But
you mean like Fraggle Rock?
Well, yeah, but they ate.
Puppet show, whatever.
Yeah,
Sorry, I don't want to get off topic yet.
and they ate. They would eat the Eloi. So
they
they were basically breeding those
and
people.
then eating them.
Yeah, and they lived underground, and they developed into these like cave dwelling like monster looking things.
Nice. Like that picture.
But yeah, exactly. Obviously, this one was lacking in the effects department, where that was what but they changed up in Guy Pearce's version. They changed up like they had it was the guy Jeremy Irons played like the leader of them. Remember, you had him. He was sitting in the chair, and he.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. It was. So they changed it up a little bit.
I just remember the side there.
Yeah.
And I remember him going too far.
Yeah, but I mean, Time Machine has to be on anybody's list, for being the original. You know, I mean, that was the one that started it all. Right. My number 4, and I hesitated to put this so high, but I just thought it was. I loved how they did the time travel part of it. Was the butterfly effect. I mean,
that's actually one of my favorites.
They just, I mean, you know, Ashton Kutcher, I thought was really good in it. You know, say what you want about the guy, but he was a really good actor in that.
I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, and just the whole concept, and we had to read the thing, and like the fucking room would start shaking, and some of those intense scenes are like in prison, and when he had to get the thing, and they just
do it in the doorway.
Yeah. I mean, and then you know, just
do you remember who that guy was that was in the doorway?
Was it
the big guy? That was the same guy that played the Blob in Deadpool. Wolverine, the second one, the same actor.
I can't remember.
His face. He was in the elevator, and then he got real big after. And Wolverine had to close to the boxing gloves. That actor was the same guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Latino guy.
I can't
same
remember.
Guy.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I remember who it was. I just can't. I can't picture him. But yeah, I mean that was.
And every time he did that, if he kept doing it, he would have ended up like his father.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was
breaking down.
Every time it just took a little piece.
Yeah.
So that kind of put that aspect in.
Yeah,
so I mean, it was a really good movie.
That was definitely a solid movie.
The effects that it had, like he was always trying to. And
just
that was
one little thing.
Yeah, and it was all right. He was doing it because of the girl, right? Because
it started that way, but then it just kept getting worse and worse, and he didn't go back far enough.
See, and that's one thing I liked about just going back to the Guy Pearce time machine. Like it all started when his girl, the girl got killed, and he started to go back in time to try and change it.
Oh, okay.
And every time it never, she would just die another way. You know,
oh,
so that goes back to my point of time travel concept where. Can you change what happened by going back in the past?
What bugged me in that movie is that every time it's almost like if he just went back just at the same time and tried to fix it, he could have stopped, but then it would have been a short movie.
Yeah.
But he always went back a little too far or not enough. Just go right back to the same spot and you can just fix it. You don't have to change it.
Yeah. But does that do the wheels of time do they well if you fixed it, would it was her number up? Was she gonna? Right. She would die anyway, somehow, or something would happen to her. But yeah, so that's my number 4, butterfly effect. You know, say